Am I the a-hole for always saying my stepfather is not my dad or real dad in retaliation for him calling my dad my birth father or the guy who made my son? I, 16, lost my dad when I was 8 years old. That man was everything to me. My hero, my best friend, the person who always knew how to make me laugh even on my worst days. His death was the worst thing that ever happened to me. And even though it's been years, I still miss him every single day. For years after he died, my mom married her current husband. I was 12 at the time and I didn't hate the guy, but I wasn't exactly throwing confetti either. I think I was still figuring out how to breathe in a world where my dad wasn't there anymore. I was still grieving. And suddenly this new man was sitting in my house, eating dinner at our table, and calling my mom babe. I tried to be neutral, civil. I figured if he made her happy, fine. But then the comments started. From pretty early on, he never referred to my dad as just your dad or even your father. Instead, he started calling him your birth father, or worse, the guy who made my son. Like my dad was a sperm donor, and not the man who actually raised me for the first 8 years of my life. Every time he said it, it made my skin crawl. It sounded cold and distant and deliberate. As if my dad wasn't even real, just some vague biological presence in the background. So, I told him. I told both him and my mom that I didn't like it. I explained that calling my dad my birth father makes it sound like he gave me up for adoption or like he wasn't present in my life. And I told him flat out that I am not his son, so saying my son like I belong to him just feels wrong. He brushed me off, said I was being too sensitive, and that it was just his way of letting people know he's the one raising me now. That made me even angrier. My dad did raise me. For 8 whole years. He didn't just vanish. He didn't walk away. He died. He didn't give up on me. Life gave up on him. And I don't understand how anyone, especially an adult, couldn't see how disrespectful it is to reduce that man's entire role in my life to a footnote. My mom tried to talk me down. She told me that there are kids who wish they had a stepdad who cared enough to claim them, and I get that. I really do. But I never asked for that. She said she used to think she could never love another man after my dad died, but that her husband helped her heal. That she hoped he could help me heal too. And then she asked me why I couldn't be happy having 2 dads. I told her the truth. Because I don't. I don't have 2 dads, and I don't want 2 dads. That clearly hurt her. She got quiet and then said, "That makes me sad." And maybe it should have hit me harder, but it didn't. Because my sadness never seemed to matter to her when her husband kept calling my dad the guy who made my son. So I started mirroring that language right back at them. Every time her husband said something like, "my son," or "your birth dad," I fired back with, "You're not my dad," or "You'll never be my real father." I started doing it all the time, even when he was being nice. Especially when he was being nice. Because to me, it felt fake. I wasn't going to play along with some fantasy where he was my dad just because it made them feel better. I figured if he was going to disrespect the man who actually was my dad, then I'd make damn sure he knew he'd never replace him. That's been the atmosphere in our house for about 4 years now. Tense, awkward, and full of landmines. And yeah, I'll admit, I've been petty. I want him to feel it. I want him to squirm a little. Because no matter how many times I explain it, he never stops talking about my dad like he was just the guy who made me. And that pisses me off more than anything. Then the other night, things blew up. We were at a small get-together, some of my mom's friends, some of his family. Everyone was laughing and telling stories, and at one point someone said something like, "Wow, your son is so tall now." And her husband smiled and said, "Yeah, he takes after me." I didn't even hesitate. I just looked him straight in the eye and said, "You're not my dad. My dad's dead. You're my mom's husband." The room went silent. His smile dropped. He looked like someone had punched him. And then he exploded. He accused me of humiliating him in front of everyone. Said he's always tried to be there for me. That he's done his best to be a father figure. That I'm cruel and disrespectful and ungrateful. I said, "You disrespected my dad first. You always have. You reduced him to biology and acted like he didn't matter just because you showed up later. I'm my dad's son. I will always be his son. And he would never want me to pretend you're my father." My mom pulled me aside afterward and asked me why I had to be so hurtful. Why I couldn't just let go of the resentment. She said her husband's feelings were hurt and that I was being toxic. I told her point blank, "He shits all over my dad's memory, so I shit all over him. That's fair." I told her I didn't choose this man. She did. And every time she dismisses my pain to protect his feelings, it just pushes me further away. She said that retaliating doesn't fix anything. that it's only making everything worse, that I'm hurting people who are trying to care about me. And here's the thing, I know I've been harsh. I know I've crossed a few lines. But I've tried the polite route. I tried explaining. I tried being quiet. And they still dismissed my grief. So now I'm done playing nice. I'm angry, and I'm tired of pretending that what I feel isn't valid. So yeah, I know it's petty. And maybe I am being in a hole. But am I wrong?